Zoran Mamdani is now the leading contender for Times Person of the Year.
The Democratic Socialist.
Democratic Socialist.
Democratic Socialist.
Democratic Socialist.
Yes, the socialist mayor of New York, who has been in office for approximately 7 months, is now being considered as the human embodiment of 2026. And here's why that's totally f***ed up. Time described Mamdani as a new source of democratic momentum, a progressive standard bearer, and a major force in American politics for years to come, which is insane because the movement underneath him is being repackaged as youthful, exciting, and inevitable without most people understanding exactly what it is. Spoiler alert, it's communism.
A communist.
Mamdani is a member of the Democratic Socialists of America, an organization that has grown to roughly 120,000 members inside the Democratic Party. Its coalition ranges from welfare state socialists to actual revolutionary communists. And when Fox News recently asked DSA National Co-Chair Megan Romer to explain the organization's mission, she did not leave much room for interpretation.
Okay, so we're going to put up on the screen a few of the things that are part of your platform, and I want to ask you, just give me sort of a true or false on these. Abolish the Senate.
True.
Okay, replace the presidency and Supreme Court as we now know them.
Yep.
Abolish ICE.
Absolutely.
Abolish borders and give amnesty to anyone currently in the U.S. illegally.
As a long-term plan, yep.
Defund the Pentagon.
Absolutely.
Abolish prisons, at least in large part.
Yeah, again, that as part of a long-term program, yeah.
Okay, so no prisons. Government or public ownership of most large corporations.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so then let's go back through some of those then. Abolish the Senate.
As you can see, democratic socialism is communism with better PR. Now, let's take a quick look at Mamdani's track record. His free agenda collided almost immediately with financial reality, at which point the state of New York committed nearly $8 billion in new assistance to stabilize the city's finances. He froze rents while operating costs rose by more than 15%, forcing landlords to absorb the entire expense. This, of course, destroys the incentive and often the ability to maintain or improve properties, creating the very deterioration his housing agenda can later use to justify government acquisition and control. He turned wealthy Democratic supporters into political targets by promoting a searchable database of roughly 30,000 second homeowners to support his pied-à-terre tax, which many, including the likes of Scott Galloway, have called a political hit list.
And I've been doxxed.
You've been doxxed? What? Tell me.
So I don't know if you've heard, but Mayor Mamdani has decided to release a list of the 950,000 residences with addresses and names that might be eligible for his pied-à-terre tax.
And most recently, his administration decided to spend approximately $70 million to develop 5 municipally owned grocery stores, promising taxpayer-supported prices 30% below the private market.
He's a straight-up communist.
And Mamdani is not an isolated New York City experiment anymore. Candidates he supported recently won 3 Democratic congressional primaries in New York. In Colorado, a DSA candidate defeated a 15-term Democratic incumbent. Democratic socialists are also gaining influence in Wisconsin, Chicago, Los Angeles, and smaller cities across the country. So this is becoming an organized national faction. But here is where history becomes inconvenient. Governments identify private ownership and profit as the problem. They replace market prices with political prices. Producers lose the incentive or ability to produce. Private alternatives shrink, shortages appear, then the government responds to the shortages by claiming the economic downfall is proof that their first controls were necessary, at which point they follow up with even more control over the market. Nobody is claiming that 5 municipal grocery stores automatically create Stalin's Soviet Union, but the underlying mechanism has been tested repeatedly. In the 1930s, Soviet collectivization helped produce a man-made famine that killed millions in Ukraine. Mao's Great Leap Forward produced catastrophic food shortages and tens of millions of deaths. Cuba introduced rationing shortly after its revolution and still struggles with shortages, failing state infrastructure, and a ration system that cannot provide basic goods. Communism always promises that political authorities will distribute abundance more fairly. History shows that they are much better at distributing scarcity. And that is the danger of time turning Mamdani into a cultural icon before the public understands the movement surrounding him. It transforms ideology into celebrity and radicalism into momentum, and it encourages millions of young people to associate socialism with viral videos, free buses, and cheap food, not with ration books, political repression, and economic collapse. But that is the reality of communism.
Trust me. Everything's gonna be fine.
very strange time in my life.